The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello and welcome to the box score breakdown, a Hoop Ball presentation. My name is Neil Rochlani. I'm here with my co-host, the one, the only Adrian Benjamins, for Wednesday, October 24th. A big slate of games. Adrian, you're now doing your second show of the evening. How are you feeling? I can feel the energy coming through. Just looking into your eyes. Go ahead, man.
Neil, you wouldn't believe it, man. I thought that I was going to oh no, another show. I'm exhausted. It's the opposite, man. That first show got me pumped up. I'm ready to go, man. The only problem is I only brought one beer with me to start. I finished it off on the last show. I'm at the end of my can and we're about to start a new show. And I'm not going to bail on you, man. I'm just going to rough it out. Let's do this, dude. I've got so much energy. You can tell, right?
I think you're the most committed man in hoop ball media. We've got a bunch of games tonight. Do you want to get into any of the news and notes before we get started on this Wednesday night?
You know what? I don't think there's anything super major, like no Jimmy Butler trade or anything like that. We got 11 games on slate. There's a lot of news to go over here. Let's just jump right into it, man. Where should we start?
All right, let's start with, I think the first game of the night was Dallas-Atlanta, or it might have been Brooklyn-Cleveland. Anyway, let's go with Dallas-Atlanta. And Atlanta wins 111-104. I'll do the Dallas side real quick. Doncic starting to look like the guy a lot of us hope he would be. 21 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Did struggle a bit from the floor and from the free throw line, but made 2 3-pointers, a steal, and a block. DeAndre Jordan playing 36 minutes, 11, 16, and 3. His free throw shooting has been so good this year, Adrian. Today he held his own at 5 of 7 from the line, had 2 blocks. Wesley Matthews, one of Dan's old men, if you follow him, which I'm sure you do, 23 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 9 of 21 shooting, and 1 turnover, no defensive stats. And then Dennis Smith Jr. having a nice productive night, 16 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 of 12 shooting, 3 of 5 from the line, 1 3-pointer, 2 steals, and a block. His percentages and turnovers in the past have hurt you. Tonight he had 5 again, but if you're an 8-cat league, he looks a lot better. I don't take much away from these starters. I mean, if I have Doncic, I'm holding firm. I'm not gonna sell high on him yet. I think the sky's the limit for him. DeAndre Jordan looks good this year if you got him. The other players, Dorian Finney-Smith, I would not touch him. Only got 5 points in 29 minutes. Wesley Matthews, I would still have my watch list. I would not pick up yet because Devin Harris is coming back at some point. Maybe you can stream him a little bit, but he's not. And Harrison Barnes is looking to make his return this week as well. So that's my take on this box score. You got some thoughts on Dallas?
Real quick, just want to say Luka Doncic, Neil, I am in awe over this guy. You know, I was so excited about this guy coming in the league, and he's way ahead of where I thought he would be, Neil. He looks so good, and man, he's just going to be a monster. In 2 seasons from now, we're going to be drafting this guy, I think, as a top 20 player, maybe even a first round type player. I'm so excited. And then Dennis Smith Jr., I have a few shares of him. Really happy to see him have a better game here because he put up one of the worst lines I've ever seen the other night. So really happy that he did better here. All right, Neil, I'm going to jump into the Hawks if you don't got anything else regarding the Mavericks.
Nope. Let's go on to the winning side.
All right, the Hawks, real interesting from them tonight. You know, we were all watching Trae Young versus Luka Doncic. Trae Young got into some early foul trouble, so didn't have the greatest game. Still put up 7 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, had a 3, shot 10 of 13 from the line. You love that. But killed you from the field tonight with 3 of 12 and had 5 turnovers. So, Neil, we knew that those were the 2 categories where Trae Young was going to murder you, and he did it tonight, man. But, you know, I got to say, though, for the most part, Trae Young has looked pretty good to start the year, way better than I expected. So you got to be pretty optimistic if you have a Trae Young. Taurean Prince, 24 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds, shot pretty good. He shot 8 of 15, 5 threes tonight, 3 of 4 from the line. Pretty happy if you played Taurean Prince tonight. Kent Bazemore, this is a beautiful game from him. 32 points, 3 steals, 7 assists, 3 rebounds, 12 of 22. Really high usage rate for him tonight, taking 22 shots, 3 threes, 5 of 6 from the line. Pretty happy there. I got to point out, like, Alex Len here, got picked up in a lot of leagues, played 28 minutes, which was really nice. Took 10 shots tonight, which is a good sign as well, but didn't have the greatest line. 7 points, 3 blocks, 3 assists, 7 rebounds. It's like, yeah, it's okay. Not too much on the bench. Anything you got going on here, Neil?
No, my biggest takeaway is Kent Bazemore is still doing it. You know, I wasn't sure. He got drafted by a lot of people late. Tonight had a big game. He's had some solid games this year, outperforming his draft position by several rounds so far. And Alex Len with Dedmon kind of working his way back in might be droppable now if you were streaming him. The other line I was looking at was DeAndre Bembry. Got 30 minutes, 11, 16, and 5, and 2 steals and a block. I don't know if this is a sign of things to come, but he's on my watch list. He was on my watch list all last year, never made it off it. Back on my watch list for this year. Let's see what he does in the coming games.
I really like that take on Bembry. Neil, I believe it was last year. He was on my sleeper list. And last year just never got going with all the injuries. But this year, if he can stay healthy, we know that team is really lacking talent. Maybe he can step up and emerge as a breakout here. So I really love that take. Neil, let's move on to the next game. Where do you want to go? Is the Nets and Cavs? Is that the next game?
Yeah, let me do Brooklyn, Cleveland. A game that I expected to have a much higher scoring total. It was just 102-86. Brooklyn with the stomp down. I'm going to start in honor of you with D'Angelo Russell. 18 points, 1 rebound, 8 assists. Perfect from the free throw line, 6 of 6, 2 3-pointers. Karis LeVert got the most minutes, 10, 6, and 4 with just a steal, no 3-pointers. And because it was kind of a one-sided game, a lot of these guys only played limited minutes. Jared Allen, just 27 minutes, did get 10 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, and a steal. Joe Harris, a solid shooting guard. If you're looking for one, he's on the waiver wire. I recommend him. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 6 for 9. He's one of these shooting guards who will help you. Definitely won't hurt you, may help you in your field goal percentage. 4 3-pointers and a steal. And then Jared Dudley gets the start. I think he's even too old for Dan Vespris because he's not on his list. But on the bench, Dinwiddie played 21 minutes. Hollis Jefferson got his return playing 21 minutes, along with Alan Crabb getting 18. And now I'm getting nervous, Adrian, that the minutes are going to start shrinking for guys like LeVert and guys like Russell and Harris. Do you think last year no one averaged, I don't think, over 30 minutes for the Nets? And I'm wondering if we're heading in that direction again. Because when they played all these guys, they ended up stomping Cleveland. I know Cleveland is not the Cleveland of last year, but they held them to 86 points. What do you think from this line? Anything you're taking away?
So I understand your concern, Neil. As you said, last year we saw no player played big minutes, but here's the thing. They play a very fast pace of basketball, even we saw tonight, Joe Harris, D'Angelo Russell, we saw get 27 minutes. We saw Karis LeVert get 32 minutes. So let's say they're getting minutes just in the high 20s. I think we're still going to see lines like this tonight. 16 from Joe Harris and 18 points from D'Angelo Russell. So, man, I think I'm not as worried yet, but I do hear your concern. It's in the back of my mind, but it hasn't gone to full worry mode for me yet. And real quick, just want to note, real happy to see Rondé Hollis-Jefferson back. I thought he would maybe only get like 10 minutes because he's coming back. Got 21 minutes tonight. That's a really good sign. And Joe Harris, a guy I saw fly off the wire at the beginning of the season. I kind of chuckled because I was like, man, when Alan Crabb gets back, when they get all these guys back, Joe Harris is going to be nothing. I'm kind of wondering now, Neil, if Joe Harris is going to be a solid part of this rotation, because he has been solid every single game. 16 points tonight with the 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 threes tonight. He's almost too good for them not to play. So you guys, if for some reason Joe Harris is still on your wire and you're in a deep like 14 or 12 team league, I think he needs to be picked up, man. Make sure he's not available in your league. Neil, do you got any closing thoughts here?
I don't. I am just watching the minutes. I like how you mentioned the pace. They are one of the fastest paced teams, and they put up a lot of stats. So maybe you guys don't need those 32 minutes I like to see. Maybe 28 is good enough. But I will be watching those pretty closely and see how the rotation fills out. Does Crabbe go back in that starting role, and does Harris kind of fall out? Where does Rondé Hollis-Jefferson fit in terms of his rotation minutes? Okay, do you want to take us to the Cleveland side?
Yeah, let's take a look at the Cavs, and I'll start with Kevin Love here. 14 points, 2 assists, 11 rebounds, 4 and 9 from the field, 2 threes, 4 of 5 from the line. Having a pretty good season, not that like Minnesota Timberwolves Kevin Love we were hoping for, but it's still an early start to the season. So let's hope he starts rolling here. And then Cedi Osman's kind of come back down to earth, Neil. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 1 steal in 24 minutes. So, I still feel great about him. Don't worry if you have him. I think he'll be fine. And then some nice help off the bench tonight. Jordan Clarkson with 14 points. Colin Sexton with 14 points. Real interesting here, Neil. George Hill and Colin Sexton basically split minutes. They both got 25 each. I'm keeping an eye on this situation. I don't think Sexton is someone you're going to play right now, but I think, Neil, at some point of the season, Colin Sexton's going to take over as the starting point guard. This team is 0-4. At some point, they're just going to, I think, give up all hopes of trying to contend and maybe go for like a rebuild, a tank rebuild maybe. So Colin Sexton, I think, is a guy that if you can't afford to stash him, maybe that's a good idea. Rodney Hood with 10 points, only 22 minutes isn't great. Nothing too much else stands out to me, Neil. Do you got any thoughts on the Cavs?
No, this is kind of a blowout. So a lot of these players didn't really get the normal minutes. Like you said, Hood was just 22 and Osman just 24. Even Love less than 30. So I was curious to see how Larry Nance would fit back in. Tonight he played 20 minutes, 4, 6, and 4 with 2 steals. I am expecting him to be the starter there at some point. So I'm kind of holding on to him. I'm stashing him in the league. We'll see if it pans out. All right, should we go on to the third game of the night, which I believe is New York and Miami? Another blowout. Miami crushes New York 110-87. I'll do the Knicks side on the road. Lance Thomas still getting the start. Power forward, 20 minutes. Someone who's hasn't been worthy in a while. I'm not going to read his line. Frank Ntilikina, though, 31 minutes. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. This is the first time I've actually seen a line from him that's not terrible. Not good enough to pick up, but I'm still watching him. And as Cantor just played 19 minutes, 8 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists with a block. Tim Hardaway Jr. has been leading this team in scoring, I believe, 14 points tonight. Again, a shortened rotation shortened minutes because of the blowout. 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Did go perfect from the line, 4-4 with 2 3-pointers. And Trey Burke, just 17 minutes, a really disappointing line from him if you had picked him up and thought he might be streamable. Tonight, just 3 points and 4 assists and shot 1 of 10 from the line. Damian Dotson, someone who I don't think's been getting many minutes. Tonight went for 20 and 10 with 2 assists. I think this is just a function of a blowout game. I would not at all go and pick him up. And then Mario Hezonja, someone who a lot of us have been thinking about this year, how he's going to play out, maybe a sleeper. He's still kind of on the outside looking in. 22 minutes tonight, 13 points, but just 1 assist and 1 rebound. And also when he shot 3 of 6 from the free throw line and 4 of 15 from the field. So has been disappointing if you were hoping for him to kind of sneaky last pick and deliver. And I guess the other player on the team who we thought might have a chance is Mitchell Robinson. Tonight, just 12 minutes, 4-3, and not much else, a single block. This New York team, I know you talked in the beginning of the year about getting good players on bad teams. Right now, the only two good players I see are Cantor and Hardaway. I don't really trust anybody else. What are your thoughts on New York after looking at the box score tonight?
I agree that Hardaway and Cantor are like the cream of the crop here. These are the two guys that you want to own. They're locked in, man. They're like their usage, their minutes should be good. As you mentioned, we didn't see it here tonight because of the blowout. I also still believe that there could be a point later in the season where Kevin Knox kind of puts it together. The minutes should be there because his team's tanking and is going to be real bad. So I still kind of have hopes for Kevin Knox. And then I still have my eye on Hazonia and to see if someone else from the wing can step up here. Tonight it was Dotson, Neil, and I'm trying not to take too much away from this because of the blowout factor, but in really deep leagues, if you got something on your bench that is just, you're going to drop, maybe just speculative add Dotson here. Maybe he's the guy that can step up and in this wing spot. So 34 minutes tonight with 20 points. Again, it was a blowout. So we're just not sure if he got the high minutes because of the blowout, probably. But just something to keep an eye on. All right, Neil, should I move on?
Yeah, take us to the Miami side. Yeah, thanks.
Neil, you're going to be surprised because I'm going to start at a guy that you called out, Rodney McGruder, again, having a solid game. 19 points, 1 steal, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, shot an efficient 6 of 8 from the field, perfect 3 of 3 from downtown, 4 of 5 from the line. This is an amazing night tonight from McGruder. And Neil, when you had talked, I think it was like the first game of the season, you had asked, do we need to pick this guy up? I was saying probably not because they're missing all these guys. Man, I think he needs to be picked up everywhere. He's been playing so good. I'm not sure they can keep him off the court even when Winslow and Waiters and James Johnson comes back. And by the way, Winslow and James Johnson are hurt all the time. So don't worry about that. Just pick up McGruder if he's not already owned in your league. He probably is. Josh Richardson, 21 points, a steal, assist, 8 rebounds, 8 of 14. He hit 5 of 6 threes tonight. Great game from Richardson. Primed to just go crazy this year. Loving that. Hassan Whiteside, 22 points, 14 rebounds, 3 blocks. Shot 8 of 15, 6 of 10 from the line, but you'll be pretty happy with this line from Whiteside. Goran Dragic was okay tonight with 13 points, 3 assists, 5 rebounds. Kelly Olynyk got 30 minutes and had 11 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. Off the bench, not too much else here. Neil, do you got any thoughts on the Miami Heat?
Yeah, I'll just say, Olynyk subbed in for Derek Jones Jr. tonight and started for his injury. And Olynyk as a starter, I was curious to see how he would do. Just took 8 shots, made 4 of them, made 1 3-pointer, and just had a steal. He's someone who I'm not really going to count on this season. And, he's been dropped in most leagues that I've seen, and I'm not going to rush to pick him back up, even if Derek Jones is out for a while. So, like you said with Magruder, hopefully you picked him up and streamed him, and maybe you can use him all season. We'll see what happens once those guys come back. But he has been not just putting up a lot of fantasy stats. He's been playing very well, and I think he's really impressed that coaching staff and may have earned a starting role there.
Yep, I agree, man. All right, let's move on to the next game. Where are we going next?
We're going to north of the border to Toronto, Minnesota and Toronto. Toronto wins. I'll let you be. You get the Toronto side. You can talk about Kawhi and his fantastic night. I'll do Minnesota. Everything starts and ends with Jimmy Butler. 37 minutes, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Shot above 50%. Free throw though, he hurt you if you had him tonight. 5 of 10 from the line, 4 of 7 3-pointers, 6 freaking steals though. My God, guy's a beast. Towns, someone I own, and I'm looking forward to the days when he's not burdened by Butler. Tonight, 14 points, 8 rebounds, and assists. Had a horrible night shooting, 5 of 17. Did go 3 of 3 from the line, made a three-pointer, had 3 blocks, though, and a steal. So even in a bad night, he still wasn't that bad. Josh Okogie got the start with Wiggins out with an injury. Wiggins may come back next game. We'll see. Did double-double with 10 points, 11 rebounds, and assist. Shot, though, just 4 of 14. He's not someone in a block. He's not someone I'm going to pick up even if Wiggins is still out. Maybe for DFS, his value might be there. Jeff Teague had a very mundane night, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 9 assists, and a steal, 5 of 12 from the field. Derrick Rose off the bench. He's producing 16, 3, and 5 with 2 3-pointers. And Tyus Jones got a fair amount of run tonight. 20 minutes, definitely not worth picking up in anything that isn't very deep. But someone to keep an eye on. Same as Anthony Tolliver, who I thought might get the chance to start over Taj Gibson, who I think I forgot to talk about. Anyway, he got 11 and 6. I think he's a better player than Gibson. 1 steal, 1 block. And then Taj had just 20 minutes tonight, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. For those of you thinking to get another fine year out of Taj, I think he might be dropping off this year a bit. Other takeaways from me, Tolliver on your watch list, Tyus Jones on your watch list. We'll see what happens when Butler goes. If Butler does go pretty soon, Okogie, I guess, may be the biggest beneficiary. Do you think that's the case? In addition, that might be who might be able to be picked up, Adrian?
If Jimmy Butler gets moved?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's real difficult to try to foresee a pickup here if Jimmy Butler gets moved, because don't forget, the Timberwolves would be getting some pieces back if Jimmy Butler gets moved. So, I had said in the last show, Neil, keep an eye on Josh Okogie with Wiggins out, and looked pretty good tonight. The shot didn't fall. He was 4 of 14, but the minutes were there. And the fact that he got 14 shots, I feel, is a really good sign. Tibbs was quoted as saying, I think the sky's the limit for him defensively. We know Tibbs, it's like kind of we know Tibbs isn't really high on rookies, but we know he's really high on defense. So I think this is a great sign that Josh Okogie got the big minutes here and that Coach Tibbs kind of already likes him. So if Wiggins continues to miss time in deeper leagues, I'm keeping an eye on Josh Okogie. And if Butler did end up getting moved and did get a wing player back, I really like Josh Okogie, man. Neil, any last closing thoughts here?
No, thanks for bringing up that point about getting players back. It's I was thinking about it in a vacuum. I was thinking they'd get more like they get picks back, but you're right. They might get actual good players back, so we'll see.
Yeah, it sounds like they don't want to tank from what I hear, which makes sense. So it seems like to me they would definitely get some useful players back. Okay, let me go over to the Toronto Raptors, and I got to start with Kawhi Leonard, man. 35 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 2 assists, 5 rebounds, 15 and 23, 2 threes, 3 of 4 from the line. Just if you drafted Kawhi Leonard, this is exactly what you had hoped for. So congrats. Kyle Lowry, 13 points, 10 assists, 4 steals, 6 rebounds, 4 and 9 from the field, a 3, 4 of 4 from the line. He's had a really good start to the season. So let's just hope he can stay healthy and keep this up, man. Ibaka, pretty good line tonight. Didn't have a block, but he had 15 points and assists, 7 rebounds, shot an efficient 7 of 10. So you'll be pretty happy with that. Valanciunas came off the bench and played 20 minutes, but still had a pretty good game here. 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, shot a really beautiful 7 of 11 from the field, 2 threes tonight from Valanciunas. That's nice. So pretty good line from him. Neil, we've gotten a lot of hype about Danny Green because he was kind of a nice surprise to start the season. A little bit of a letdown here with only 6 points, 1 block, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Still a kind of nice low-end line. He had 2 threes as well. So, kind of filled it up a little bit, like all over the place. Neil, do you got any thoughts on the Toronto Raptors?
No, just I'm so glad to see Kawhi playing at this level. I mean, Toronto looks like the best team in the East right now. I know Boston has maybe the best overall talent, but I love the way Toronto's playing right now. Danny Green, he's someone he's been back in the top 50, I think even like top 30 right now. Tonight had a little bit of a letdown, but no one's really rushing to him just yet. We'll see. Lowry's had an incredible season, top 10 in ACAT right now. Pascal Siakam, someone who got just 20 minutes. He's going to get the starter's role, but he may not get enough minutes to really produce. But yeah, I agree with everything else you said.
All right, man, let's move on. Where should we go next?
We'll go to Chicago. They got their first win, Adrian. They're 1-3. The playoffs, here he comes. Zach LaVine, first team All-NBA. What do you think, Adrian? If he got a vote, he would vote himself first team All-NBA, I'm pretty sure.
Can I just say real quick on Zach LaVine?
Yeah.
4 games in a row with 30 or more points. I believe he's like the first Bull to do that since Michael Jordan. I hope I'm not wrong on that because I'm just assuming that, but it sounds right. And then, man, I got to say, Neil, he has looked amazing. We were wondering with Chris Dunn going down, who's the biggest winner? It's going to be Zach LaVine because it's just more usage for this guy. Not that he needed anymore. He was already going crazy, man. I think Zach LaVine looks set to explode. So, yeah, man, I just want to say that. Do you want to get into the Bulls?
No, I'll do Charlotte. I'll do the road team. Stick with that. Kemba Walker, their centerpiece, 23 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. Did not shoot well, though, 5 of 14. Did do a great job from the line, 10 of 11, 3 3-pointers, a steal and a block. Jeremy Lamb, someone who I own a lot of shares of, has been struggling a bit. 12 points, just played 28 minutes, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 3-pointers, a steal and a block. Cody Zeller, someone in just 21 minutes, did pretty well for such a low minute count. 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Shot the ball well, 5 of 8 from the field. Batum had what I kind of expect Batum to have, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, a 3-pointer, a steal, and a block. Marvin Williams, 11 points, 8 rebounds, an assist, 2 steals, and a block. Good performance from him defensively. Malik Monk, has been creeping in on this team's rotation tonight, getting 24 minutes, 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. And then Tony Parker had some important minutes tonight. 17 minutes, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Maybe someone in a deeper league. Same with Monk. Kid Gilchrist fouled out, just had 16 minutes. Hernan Gomez just 14 minutes, and then Miles Bridges 13 minutes. I think a couple of things I was looking at to see. There's been some talk about Hernan Gomez perhaps superseding Zeller at some point as the center. Tonight it was not the case. They did go small because Portis got hurt and was knocked out in the third quarter. Let's see. That's really what I'm taking away. I mean, there's really no big changes. I guess if you own Lamb, you don't want to trade him because you can't get much value for him. And if you're looking to just kind of like stash potential guy, if Monk is still out there, I guess maybe he's one. I still think it's too early though to take him. What are your thoughts on Charlotte?
I just want to add that Cody Zeller went to or had a brief injury. I believe he cut his face, so it doesn't look like it affected him too much. He's been playing around that 20-minute mark, got the same amount of minutes tonight, but I just want to note that he did leave the game briefly with a slight injury, not a biggie. And other than that, man, not too much else. Some real interesting battles, as you mentioned, with Hernan Gomez and Zeller, and we got a backcourt battle with Monk and Lamb. Man, I'm not feeling good about either. I feel like this could just be like they could just split. They could like both battles could kind of cancel each other out, where we're just seeing them trade off nights. So I'm not feeling really good about either of these position battles. But anyways, that's all I got, Neil. I'm going to move on to the Bulls if you don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a timeshare is more likely than one guy emerging for both of those spots. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, we're seeing it right now with Lamb and Monk. Like tonight it was Lamb that got more minutes, the better line. Tomorrow Monk could have the hot hand, and the coach just decides to leave him in the game. So it's just really tough, man. But let's just ride it out and see how it goes down. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get into Bulls. I already mentioned Zach LaVine, so real quick, 32 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 11 of 12 from the line, 10 of 22 from the field. He added a 3. Neil, he has an insane 32.2 usage rate on the year, which is crazy, man. And as I mentioned before, that could shoot up more with no Chris Dunn. So, man, watch out for Zach LaVine. Oh, on the show, on the premium live show, Mike and I were talking about for DFS purposes, his price hasn't really reflected this amazing run he's on. He's still in that $7,000 range. So for you DFS guys, until they like up his price, you may want to be playing him in all your DFS lineups. All right, campaign getting the start for Chris Dunn, 21 points, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 7 of 11 from downtown. Neil, am I reading that right? That's crazy. 7 of 13 from the field. I don't know. Do we need to add this guy? This is crazy.
Absolutely not, but go ahead.
Wendell Carter Jr., Neil, it hasn't happened yet. Wendell Carter Jr., he got 30 minutes tonight, 6 points, 2 blocks is great, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. It's actually a nice low-end line, and the minutes are there. So, not the start we had hoped for Wendell Carter when we had learned he was going to be the starter, but just hang in there. Better days ahead. Bobby Portis only got 20 minutes here, Neil, and on my box score, I'm seeing some weird things. I'm wondering if he maybe got hurt.
He did. He got hurt in the third quarter and had to leave early.
Okay.
We'll know more tomorrow how serious it is.
Okay, yeah, sounds like he's getting a scan on his right knee. That doesn't sound great. And that is definitely why he only got 20 minutes tonight. So fingers crossed that he's okay. Jabari Parker with 11 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. It's nice to see him contribute in all these other categories. Didn't start, but still had 31 minutes. He may have benefited from Bobby Portis missing some time here. Not too much else to talk about. Neil, I know this is your team. I know you probably got some thoughts here. What do you think?
Yeah, I would just say pick up campaign at your own risk. He is going to have lines like this. It's probably only going to happen though 1-3 or 1-4, 1-5 games, and the other 2, 3, or 4 games are not going to be this good. If you can time them right, it's sort of like if you can time it when things are going to all of a sudden go off and you're right, then try him. But he may be very frustrating to own. I would say pick up Parker if he's out there and you want to stream someone, because I think Portis may miss the next game. We'll see how bad it is. It didn't look great when he walked off. It just didn't have a good feeling. And then yeah, that's it. I've got Justin Holiday still playing 38 minutes. I like to see that tonight. Obviously, did not do much statistically, but I think he's someone who's still streamable for the foreseeable future if he's getting that many minutes.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Where should we go, man?
Man, big game down in Houston, Texas, where Utah came in and knocked off the Rockets 100-89. I thought this was going to be a much higher scoring game. I should not.
Well, let me have the Jazz, please.
Oh, yes. I'll give you the Jazz.
Yeah. Do you want me to start?
Yes, you go.
I guess I'll pick the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell, thank you. Welcome to the NBA season, Donovan Mitchell. 39 minutes, 38 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, shot 14 of 25, 4 threes tonight, 6 of 8. I hope this is the start of a Donovan Mitchell explosion. Rudy Gobert, 12 points, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 13 rebounds is really nice. Shot an efficient 4 of 5. Didn't kill you too bad from the line. Was 4 of 6 from the line. Pretty good. Man, Ricky Rubio's been pretty disappointing. In 33 minutes, he was 0 of 7, had 2 points, 2 steals, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. Pretty disappointing from Rubio. Derek Favors with 8 points. Joe Ingles with 11 points. Did have 3 threes. The bench, nothing really off the bench. Crowder played 32 minutes. That's nice, but only had 9 points, 3 assists, 6 rebounds. Not too much else to talk about here. Neil, do you got any thoughts on the Jazz?
No, this is all Donovan Mitchell's night. He dominated in every way, shape, and form. I'm glad they got the win. This is, don't want to call it a revenge game, but sort of a repeat of last year's second round in the Western Conference. Rubio is the one that we were a little worried about. He's had a couple good games, but he's had more of these mediocre games. So, unfortunately, he's struggling right now. And also had 6 turnovers. So if you're a 9-cat, that will kill you. Not much else here, except if you own Favors, which I do, he may be droppable. I wouldn't say droppable, but he's not really producing that well. We know he's not great from the line. Tonight he was 2 for 2. Did have 2 blocks, but just not doing much in other categories. All right, I'll take over. Anything else on Utah before I go to Houston?
Nope.
I guess the biggest news is Harden hurt his hamstring and left a little early. Did play 32 minutes, though. 29 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. I don't think it's anything serious. We'll find out soon. Only 6 of 9 from the line. Did have 3 3-pointers, a steal, and no blocks. The second best line was from, was it Carmelo Anthony? No, it's got to be Clint Capella. 10 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. 5 of 9 from the field, 0 of 2 from the line. Carmelo off the bench, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, played 39 minutes, shot 9 of 17, 3 3-pointers, a steal and a block. PJ Tucker in 39 minutes. This is why he was not really drafted in most leagues. 6 points, 3 rebounds, 7 steals and a block. I missed that steal. Oh my God, that's crazy. Okay, 7 steals and a block, so maybe it was worth it. Eric Gordon, starting for Chris Paul, 40 minutes, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. But his shooting can kill you. Tonight, 5 of 21, 1 of 12 from 3. I guess this is a big reason why they lost. Just not shooting the ball well at all, and a block. And then Michael Carter Williams also started as well. 7 points, no rebounds, and 2 assists. So, oh my gosh. Thank God Chris Paul is coming back for this team next game, I believe. His suspension is now over. That will change things a lot. Keep an eye on Harden to see how serious this injury is. Carmelo, I'm not picking up. He's out there in most waiver wires, I think. Same with Eric Gordon. His field goal percentage is just too crazy for me to trust. What are your thoughts on Houston?
Man, rough start for the Houston Rockets, who I believe are now 1-4 or 1-3. And, this is supposed to be the second best team in the West. It's not looking good for them. From what I'm hearing, the James Harden things should not be a serious issue. I think they were just playing it safe with him. It was also the end of the game. So why not risk it? So, yeah, that's all I got.
All right. You want to take us to Indiana, San Antonio?
Indiana, San Antonio. Sure thing. Actually, why don't you start first while I pull up the box score here?
Yeah, sure. Indiana gets the win on the road, 116-96. A bit surprising. They go to 3-2 on the season. Oladipo doing his thing tonight. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 7 of 12 from the field, 4 of 4 from the line, 3 3-pointers and 2 steals. Let's see. Who else had a good line? This is sort of a mishmash of everyone else. I mean, Turner looked decent. I mean, in terms of stats, 10, 6, and 2, or maybe not decent, but 2 blocks. The rest of this is kind of disappointing. Bojan Bogdanovic, 7 points, 4 rebounds, and assists. 1 3-pointer. Thaddeus Young in 31 minutes, 14 and 5, with no defensive stats. 1 3-pointer. Collison, someone else who's kind of been a disappointment in May. I mean, I guess if you drafted him mid-round, you don't want to just drop him right now, but so far he's been just horrendous from a fantasy perspective. 21 minutes, 5 points, 3 assists, 2 steals. Corey Joseph off the bench got 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 3-pointers, and a steal. And then Tyreek Evans, 19 points, 5 assists. and 2 steals and a block. A lot of spreading out the minutes in fantasy stats. Sabonis in 21 minutes, 16 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 of 9 shooting, 2 steals and a block. A lot of good stats across the board, but only a single player with a great stat line. It was Oladipo. Everyone else was just kind of like meh. So not a good night to start an Indiana player in your DFS or to have on your fantasy team.
Neil, I feel like this whole team's been really disappointing except for Victor Oladipo. I feel like this has been kind of what we see tonight has been kind of the story for the start of the season. Just everybody kind of disappointing. Miles Turner, Thaddeus Young, Darren Collison. I have Sabonis in a few leagues, Neil, and it's been aggravating. I leave him on the bench, which I did tonight. He has 16 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, a block, and 4 assists. If I play him, which I did the other night, he put up a dud because he's only getting 20 minutes off the bench. So this is kind of aggravating, man. This has been so far to start. It's kind of a frustrating team in terms of fantasy. Let's hope that this is just like a start of the season thing and that they turn into the fantasy powerhouse we thought they would be. All right, man. Where should we go next?
Oh, you got to do the Spurs.
Oh, shoot. Okay, hang on a sec.
All right.
As I just clicked out of the box score. It's okay. I got 2 of them up. Hang on one sec. San Antonio Spurs. I'm going to start with Bryn Forbes, a guy I thought about picking up off the wire the other day, and now I'll probably have to pay more to pick him up off the wire. We have to use a budget in this league. 15 points, 2 threes, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. I think he needs to be added until Derek White comes back, man. Playing good minutes and is getting shots. So this is pretty good to see. Marco Bellinelli with 16 points tonight. I don't trust him for fantasy. He only played 20 minutes, but it's kind of nice to see. LaMarcus Aldridge is the guy that you want to own here. 14 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, a block. Nice game from him. DeMar DeRozan's been doing his thing. 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Rudy Gay. You know what, Neil? Later I want to get your thoughts on Rudy Gay. I know you drafted him in a few leagues. 11 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. You'll take this line from Rudy Gay for sure. Pau Gasol is just gone this year. This whole front court is pretty ugly, right? Jakob Poeltl only getting 12 minutes, not doing anything. Bertan getting 19 minutes, not doing anything. Pau Gasol not doing anything. LaMarcus Aldridge is the real guy in that front court. Neil, do you got any thoughts on this team?
I got two things I want to mention. Yeah, Rudy Gay, someone I picked up in a couple drafts. Not playing a lot of minutes, 26 minutes tonight, and it was sort of a blowout. But once they lost Kyle Anderson and Kawhi Leonard, I pretty much thought Gay would be someone you could trust, and so far he's delivering. The other thing I'll mention is Bryn Forbes. I'm just not trusting him yet. I know he's got the role, but he hasn't. I'm afraid he's gonna be one of these guys that the games you start him, he'll do poorly, and then when you don't start him, he'll do well. I think it's going to be hard to predict for him having a good night or not. So he's too hard for me to trust. I won't pick him up. The next game, I think that just finished. If you can stick around, Adrian, I don't know what your schedule is like.
I could do one more, but before I do,
okay.
For me, Bryn Forbes is like in my 14-team leagues. I play in a few of them. Man, it is like there is not much on the wire, and I need some help in some of these leagues. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. And Neil, you'd be very surprised if I told you 3 out of the 4 games he's played over 30 minutes, he has not scored anything under 11 points in all 4 games. Tonight, 15 points. The night before, 16. 17 the night before. So he's double-digit points in every game. He's had a 3-pointer in every game. Tonight he had 2, 4 threes the night before, 5 threes 3 nights ago. I think this guy is a must pick up. 14 teams in a 12-team league. If you really need some help, especially in threes, go ahead and pick this guy up, man.
Yeah, fair enough. The last game it just I think ended was Milwaukee Philadelphia. Would you mind starting on that one because my phone just died?
Yes.
I'm trying to charge it to back up.
No worries. I'm jumping in right here. Milwaukee and Philly. I'm pulling it up right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo, man. Jeez Louise. Is this guy going to win MVP or what? I'm going to start with Giannis, and I guess that means I got to start with the Bucks as well. 32 points, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 11 assists, 18 rebounds, 12 of 24 from the field. Neil, these numbers are blinding me, man. This is unreal. Did have 5 turnovers. Who cares? Who cares? Amazing line tonight, man. 25 from Middleton, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 10 of 10 from the line, helping you immensely there. 3 threes, 6 of 18. Middleton is a stud. Eric Bledsoe, 18 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds, a steal, 2 threes, 4 of 4 from the line. Great game for Bledsoe. Really nice to see these 3 guys going off together. Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Brook Lopez, 32 minutes, 21 points, 2 blocks, an assist, a rebound. Didn't do too much else. 5 threes tonight. You love getting those threes from your center. Brook Lopez showing a pulse. I've heard some disappointment from his team managers to the start of the season. So this is nice to see. Not too much else going on. Brogdon did okay with 9 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. That's about all I got. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, I mean, Giannis, he in the past he's hurt you in really in 9-cat league, 3 categories. Turnovers, which I think anytime a guy's that ball dominant, he's going to have a lot of turnovers. And it'll average out over the year. But the free throws are great tonight, 8 of 9. Didn't make a 3-pointer, but like you said, who cares? He's just such a beast. Like,
you know what?
He's so fun to watch. I understand that maybe he doesn't have the best metrics because of that, but I'd take him. So
I'm actually kind of, you know what, Neil? I know like everyone feels like that's the next step for him is add a 3. I actually kind of am okay with him not shooting 3 if it helps his field goal percentage. So I'm actually okay with him just taking it inside because we see lines like tonight, man. He filled it up. I mean, are you kidding me? 3 blocks, 2 steals. He almost had 20 rebounds tonight to go along with 11 assists. This is just crazy, Neil. If the Bucks finish up towards the top of the East, which would not surprise me, Giannis is going to be an MVP candidate.
Oh, absolutely. I think he might be the MVP this year. We'll see. I guess the one thing I'd mention is in deeper leagues, Dante DiVincenzo is now averaging over 20 minutes a game. Not a lot of usage, but I think he's a good player. And if you're in a very deep league and he's still out there, he might be worth an ad or at least a watch. All right, I'll go over to any other thoughts before I go to Philadelphia?
Nope. Take us over to Philly, and then I probably got to run.
All right, Philadelphia tonight, Joel Embiid. Well, first of all, Ben Simmons is back. Looks just fine. Had 14 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists, 2 of 6 from the free throw line. Now that is tough. Along with obviously he doesn't shoot 3-pointers. Had a steal. Joel Embiid though, he's the one who people were worried about. Looks like he might be a first rounder, at least an 8-cat. 30 points, 19 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 of 13 from the line, 2 3-pointers, 3 blocks. Robert Covington, someone you and I are a little bit down on this year, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. This 3 of 10 shooting, he has not historically been a great shooter. 1 3-pointer and 2 blocks. His defensive stats are usually what keeps him in it in the top 40. We'll see if that can hold this year. Dario Saric, 15 points, 7 rebounds, 2 3-pointers, no defensive stats. And then Markelle Fultz, unfortunately, just played 27 minutes, 5 points, 4 assists. Definitely struggling as a rookie or first-year player. 2 steals and a block. J.J. Redick off the bench, scoring points tonight. Got 19, 6 assists, 4 for 4 from the line, 3 3-pointers. Someone, a shooting guard at the end of your bench that can be serviceable. that's really it in terms of fantasy production. What are your thoughts on Philadelphia?
Want to note that it looked like Simmons in this game may have re-aggravated his back. Nothing major, but something to keep an eye on, man. Let's hope, back issues are really tricky. Back injuries, they can flare up. Let's hope this isn't anything that bothers him all season. I'd almost rather him just sit for just a little bit to like get 100%. I don't want it to get worse. So just something to keep an eye on. And then that's about all I got, man. I think you pretty much covered everything here.
All right, man. Am I going to lose you? You got to go.
Yeah, I got to run. My wife might kill me tonight. So if you guys don't ever hear from me again, it was fun and it was real. Thank you, Neil.
All right, Adrian. Yeah, I'll finish up the last few games as they wind down. So, 113, they have put up their pace has been incredible, and they're putting up a lot of fantasy stats tonight. Rondo and Ingram still out with suspension. Kuzma and Hart getting the starts. A lot of shared minutes around because it was not that close of a game. We'll start with LeBron James, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. Perfect from the line. Love to see that. 1 3-pointer, 3 steals. JaVale McGee having maybe the best night, though. 20 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 13. Did struggle 3 of 6 from the line. Had a 3-pointer, though. 1 steal and 4 blocks. Lonzo Ball, 12, 7, and 6 on 9 shots. One 3-pointer, 2 steals. Josh Hart, 15, 2, and 2. Just took 8 shots, but did make 4 3-pointers, had 2 steals. And Kuzma did not go crazy tonight, but did have 17 points on 15 shots, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. I'm worried about his efficiency. Free throw line, though, is just fine. 3 of 3. Missed both of his 3-pointers and just had a block and no steals. Because it was a blowout, KCP got extended minutes. Someone, though, who's not worth owning in standard leagues. Lance Stevenson had a good night. Had a great night, actually. 23, 8, and 8. 10 of 14 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line, 1 3-pointer, 2 steals. Svi and also Jonathan Williams got some playing time as well. We'll see what happens when still one more suspension, one more game out for Rondo, and then 2 more, I believe, still for Ingram. Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton, in a losing effort, has still put up great stats. 22-11, 3 assists, 11 of 14 from the field. Missed his 1 3-pointer, one free throw. Did have 3 blocks. Trevor Ariza, very serviceable still this year. 14 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 3-pointers. Ryan Anderson still starting at the power forward, but only really getting not even like 20 minutes tonight, 19. This has kind of been his average in terms of time and not really worth owning. Not much stats either. Isaiah Cannon, probably pronouncing his name wrong. Also, just played 28 minutes in this blowout. Only put up 4 points, only had 2 assists. Someone I thought might be streamable, but the last couple games have been very disappointing. You could probably do better. Devin Booker, things do run through him, even though he's not technically the point guard. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Shot well, 8 of 15. 5 of 7 from the line, 2 3-pointers. And then off the bench, TJ Warren played 29 minutes. Not much to write home about, though. Just 10 points, 3 rebounds, and assist. And Josh Jackson, someone else who I thought might have been worth a speculative ad in the beginning of the season, is not really getting the minutes and is not really producing when he does play. In 25 minutes tonight, just 10, 2, and 4, and 2 steals, 2 3-pointers. So what I would take away from this is Kuzma, if you own him, hope maybe you sold high on him after that last game. I think I'm worried about his shooting, his field goal percentage. He will take a lot of shots and do a lot of things on the court, but may not be very efficient. I'd rather have Josh Hart, much more steady. He's probably already been picked up in most standard leagues. Tonight had a little disappointment, so maybe you could trade for him if someone's starting to think maybe he's not that good, or wait until he has 1 or 2 bad games and then pick him up from someone who's willing to sell low on him. Lonzo Ball shot well, 5 of 9, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, and did have a 3-pointer. So I don't think I would trade for him. I'm still worried about his stats, but his percentages, his stats otherwise are just fine. And then JaVale McGee, someone I was fortunate enough to pick up in one of my leagues, someone who's a must own. I'm sure he's already been taken off the waiver wire at this point, but he's already into the top 50, I believe, if not higher, maybe top 40, top 30 after tonight. It's going to keep climbing. Definitely not, I won't say definitely not sustainable. I mean, played 26 minutes. I'm not sure what his minutes limit is. This seems pretty high for him. Will, I think, produce on average somewhere around 12 to 14 points, average around 6 to 8 rebounds, and get around 2 blocks. So very serviceable as your last center, your second center. Tonight's line seems a bit elevated going against the very young and raw Phoenix team. So that is the Lakers-Phoenix. I believe there's one other game done at this moment, and that is Sacramento-Memphis. I'm going to say it's done. There's 19 seconds left in the fourth quarter, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Jaren Jackson Jr. gets a start again, 14, 7, and 2. 2 of 2 from the line, 1 steal, 1 block. I think he's going to be just fine. I think he's going to end up in the top 50 by the end of the year. Kyle Anderson gets a start. This is probably the one that everyone was watching to see what does he do now that he's in the starting lineup. Well, unfortunately, not a whole lot. 28 minutes, 2 of 5 shooting. He's never been a big usage guy in terms of shooting. Did get 9 rebounds, but just 1 assist. There were some rumors coming into the season that he might be facilitating the team more. The offense might go through him on some plays tonight. That was not the case. Did not take a 3-pointer and had a steal. Mike Conley played 36 minutes, 21, 6, and 5. 8 of 20 from the floor. Definitely he's been the alpha since he's been back this year. 3 of 4 from the free throw line. 2 of 9 from 3-pointer and a steal. Gasol played 31 minutes, 10-9. No assists from him either, which is very unusual. Only shot 4 of 12. Did make a 3-pointer and had 3 blocks, so that makes up for any weak lines. Garrett Temple, someone who's been getting a lot of minutes, but I don't believe you can trust him in a standard league. Tonight in 29 minutes, had 3 points, 4 rebounds, and assists. And that's really it. Shelvin Mack's been getting more minutes than I thought as well, but not worthy in anything inside 14-team leagues. And then Marshawn Brooks, someone who I thought might get some more play tonight with some of the injuries, but did not really get out there that much, just 13 minutes. And Dylan Brooks got 14 minutes. Over on Sacramento side, Bjelica is a surprising fantasy serviceable player. 11 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 of 4 from the line, 3 steals, 2 blocks, a 3-pointer. Fantastic line across the board. Nothing spectacular, but they were all very good in every category. This must be Justin Jackson. 37 minutes. He gets a start tonight. 7 points, 9 rebounds. So hard to know who to trust in this Kings lineup. Only shot 2 of 10 from the field and 2 of 4 from the line. So hard to trust him. Willie Cauley-Stein, the one guy you can trust in the front court. 35 minutes tonight. 13 points, 9 rebounds, and assist. 2 steals. No blocks. 1 of 3 from the line, though. De'Aaron Fox, the one backcourt guy that I like both backcourt guys, but he's been the biggest surprise and the biggest upside guy. If you took him, not sure where he's going to end up. He's been great this year. I was really worried about his shooting. Doesn't shoot great, but tonight 7 of 16, not great, but not bad. The line did hurt you. 7 of 12 from the free throw line. 21 points, though. 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, just 2 turnovers for point guard. And then Buddy Hield, the other one, who I really like this season. 23 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 10 of 20 from the field, 3 3-pointers, and no defensive stats. Marvin Bagley, someone who was drafted 2nd overall in the NBA, playing 22 minutes, 13 points, 6 rebounds, and assist. Coming off the bench, looks like he's going to be getting the last couple of games. He's gotten in the 20-minute range. I mean, mid to high 20 minutes. Not sure what it's going to be like going forward. I think if the Kings go into tank mode, or if I have to imagine he's going to be getting more run than Justin Jackson eventually. But I don't know. It's really hard to know what the Kings are doing. I think De'Aaron Fox, Hield, and Cauley-Stein are only 3 you can trust. Bjelica, I would stream him until this goes away. I mean, he's going to have some really bad nights, but he could also have some just fine nights if you need like one last player on your roster, and there's not a lot out there. So that's it for this game. All right, in the last game of the evening, the Golden State Warriors take down Washington 144-122. Kind of a blowout. Sorry about that. Kind of a blowout. Steph Curry did go nuts, though. 51 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 15 of 24 shooting, 10 for 10 from the line. Took 16 three-pointers, made 11 of them. God bless. And he had a block and just 2 turnovers. Kevin Durant also had a phenomenal stat line, 30 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 13 of 19 shooting, 3 of 3 from the line, just 1 3-pointer, did have a steal on the block. Draymond Green has been a bit of a disappointment this year. If you own him tonight, did not do much better. Did get 12 assists, but only 5 points, 4 rebounds, only took 3 shots, one 3-pointer and a steal. Damian Jones just played 12 minutes, not game worth starting, not someone worth starting in standard leagues. Klay Thompson, also a little disappointment so far this year in terms of his production. Did have 19 points tonight, but just 3 rebounds and 1 assist, and just a single 3-pointer and a steal. Off the bench, Iguodala, Bell, Jerebko, Livingston played some complimentary minutes, but nothing really to worry about there. I think, if you want to buy low on Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, not a bad idea. I don't think they can get much worse this year if those owners are frustrated. Curry and Durant, first-round picks, if you got them in the mid-first round or later in the first round, obviously very excited about that. And then on the Washington side, at one point, Bradley Beal did go out with a sternum injury, came back in, finished with 19 minutes, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Had a great night of shooting, 10 of 15 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line, and a 3-pointer and a steal. John Wall, subpar game, just 13 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 of 4 from the line, and 1 3-pointer, no defensive stats. With Jan Mahimi kind of banged up a little bit, not someone I'm sure those owned in any leagues. Jason Smith got the start, just played 11 minutes, not really had anything fantasy relevant. Otto Porter Jr., someone else who's been struggling a bit, played 24 minutes, 12, 1-1. Shot well, though, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 3-pointers, 2 steals. And Markieff Morris, someone who's been surprisingly very good this year with the absence of Dwight Howard. 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 of 10 shooting, 2 3-pointers. I say the absence of Dwight Howard because I thought if Dwight got the start, the center would kind of take away from Markieff's production, which could be the case when he still comes back. So if you own him and you're able to trade him, I would do so. He's way outperforming his draft position right now. Off the bench, the Kelly Oubre Jr., 17 points, 4 rebounds, 3 3-pointers. Still doesn't really do enough for me to think he's startable in a 12-team league. Same with Jeff Green, Austin Rivers, and the like. The one takeaway from here is Bradley Beal is healthy, which is good to see. Did have to leave the game early and came back. Markieff Morris has been a pleasant surprise. Not sure that stays if and when, I guess, Dwight comes back. We'll see how serious that is. So maybe if Dwight doesn't come back, you could trust him the rest of the season. And then Steph Curry, 11 3-pointers again. Just having a crazy year, perhaps his 3rd MVP season. And that's it. With that, I'm going to sign off, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Please feel free to tweet at Adrian and I on Twitter. He is at Adrian Benjamins. I am at Ball with Neil, Neil. Ask us any questions, any comments, any criticisms, and we'll be happy to engage with you.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.